terms of time, do you think that you'll take another 3 years for this next season, or you plan to make it shorter?
Well, we're going to be doing bi-weekly updates with Star Children just because I'm making both comics at the same time. TEB right now is weekly updates. That's just a story I'm more passionate about right now. I like that I can be a little bit more mature and gruesome with that. So when it comes to Star Children, like right now, I have launch for season 2 scheduled for September 10th for reward ads. So that's going to be until September. This is what I can most realistically maintain for myself. Because again, I do this all by myself. I do spend pretty much every waking moment that's not when I'm physically at work working on my stories. And some weeks I need to write, so I'll spend the week storyboarding how many episodes that I possibly can. And then I have to catch up on actually rendering those panels because it takes me about almost 2 hours now just to get 3 panels done, which I used to be able to do that in just an hour. My art style has gotten so much better and I put so much more detail and effort.
Yeah.
So it may take another 3 years. I don't know.
And how long does it take to make one full episode?
I try to draw throughout the week, like after I'm off of work. But I spend from pretty much I get up at like 8 a.m. and I don't go to bed until like 1 a.m. I spend that entire time drawing on Saturdays and Sundays. So technically I can get it done in 2 days if I'm working for that long. On really, really good weeks, I can get an episode of Star Children and have done in the same week. I do Star Children a lot faster because it's not nearly as many panels and it's not as complex as TEB is, especially because I use so many different styles with TEB, especially with the demons. I have to keep switching my gears of like, okay, I have to draw this way and then I have to draw the demon this way. Even though it's really fun drawing the demons and I can be a lot more looser and sketchier with them, it still takes a lot more time because I have to mentally switch those gears.
Yeah, it's also so detailed. TEB is so detailed. Like that process, it must take a long time doing because it looks so painted.
Yeah, what software do you use?
Yeah, I use Procreate. I will give you 2 sneak peeks of the episode I'm gonna do. So I sent you 2 screenshots of just little snippets. So you can kind of see.
That sneak peek was actually really interesting. I hope nothing bad is happening to my boy.
Here, he's not doing okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, what's happening to him? Oh no. Wow, I really love your style. It's so detailed. I can't even think of how you even did that. All the texture is amazing.
That's gonna be the new.
Wow, I really like the demons that are crawling at the back. Do they have like some significance?
They're gonna be a new aspect of the lore of the world that it's going to be revealed there. Because a lot of the things is, we're observing the story through a writer's perspective. Basically, his brain was factory reset. Like, homeboy just is trying his best out there. As cool and awesome Amy is, she's actually the biggest freaking airhead ever. And she's like, oh, well, it wasn't important at this time, so why would I tell you there? There's a lot more to this world that Amy hasn't told writer. Not like Amy's trying to hide it, it's more so of her. But sometimes there's not a single thought behind those sides. The same with writer, they're just like one single brain cell to think between those two. But yeah, there's gonna be a significance, and this particular demon arc is gonna show a whole other side of the world of the Exorcist, so we get to know more about this in this arc, and I'm very excited about revealing that.
Yeah. Speaking of gratification, do you feel like Webtoon gives you any? I mean, you've been on the platform for like 3 years. You should be an original.
Yeah, I mean, I did win the Canvas Awards last year, which was really cool.
Yeah. I voted for you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Because I know that I was the final 4 or whatever for the last, when they first did it in 2020, then I also was in 2021. I won 2nd place both times. I'm like, no, come on, so close. And then when I won last year, I was like, bet. So that was really cool. So I know there's been a lot of stuff going on with Webtoon Originals and stuff like that, where I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't go and sign in when I did, because they're working on themselves. I know a couple of my friends who are originals now, and they're getting all their contracts work. I don't know if I would have personally the time to be an original, because I would not give up my current position. I do a lot of good in the world with my current job, because I do, I supervise a fraud department. So I manage a team of fraud specialists who are there to help victims of frauds and scams. So what I do helps out a lot of people, and I help prevent a lot of dollar loss. Between my team alone, we've prevented over probably $1 million worth of fraud this year alone. Wow. I do a lot of good things, and I educate a lot of people when it comes to financial crimes, how not to get scammed and everything like that. So I don't want to give up. Also, I do not want to give up my health insurance. I work for a top 100 Fortune company, like has literally one of the best places to work in this country. If I were offered an original between like Star Children or TEB, I probably would have picked TEB, honestly, because again, I'm more passionate about that story.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that with Star Children, I would have to start from scratch and having to do all 120 of those episodes.
Yeah.
Does not sound fun.
Yeah. So what advice would you give new creators just jumping into Webtoon canvas?
One, definitely create a buffer. For the love of God, create a buffer. Set realistic expectations for yourself, right? Like, kind of have like a natural like 101 with yourself. Like, okay, why are you doing this? Are you doing it because you're really passionate about your story and just want to have it out there and like connect with other creators and readers about your story? Or are you just doing it for just exposure? Obviously, when we make stories, we want to be recognized. We want other people to, look at our story, tell us it's awesome, and get all those crazy high numbers.
Yeah.
It's not realistic. There's so many creators out there, and sometimes it is just luck, right? So if you're gonna go out there, set low expectations, just have fun with it, right? If you are planning on doing it like for real, make sure you market yourself, make sure that you give yourself plenty of wiggle room, really think out how you want the story to go, really flesh out your characters. If you are going to be launching on Webtoon specifically, make sure you have at least 3 episodes for your launch, because when you're going through a new series, when you go onto the 3rd episode, Webtoon automatically prompts you to subscribe. So if you create a new story and you already have 3 episodes, when people are reading it through, they're going to have that prompt to subscribe and they're more likely to do it. If you are going to do that as well, make sure that your story hook is by the 3rd episode, right?
Yeah.
So when I launched TEB, I launched it with 3 episodes, and I ended the 3rd episode with Amy getting eaten by Sync Breath, right?
Yeah.
So I made sure to trap that hook. That way people come back. But also at the same time, you have 3 episodes for launch. Make sure that you have at least, personally for me, a month worth of a buffer. So that's at least maybe 4 or 5 episodes. July has 5 weekends, so I have 5 updates I'm gonna have to do for TEB this month, which I'm like, crap. Give yourself plenty of time. Don't make an entire 100 episode comic at once and then post it. You're gonna get burnt out and you're not gonna have that gratification, and it's not gonna motivate you. Just post it and promote yourself, right? So I know that TikTok is a really big thing right now. Instagram's just dead.
I know.
Good luck promoting on Instagram, honestly. TikTok is really the big one. I know that personally for myself, I need to get more into TikTok. I started doing it a little bit, probably last year or so. I just don't have the time because I'm drawing panels. I don't have time to make silly little TikToks. I'm gonna try to do it, but again, I don't have time. Promote yourself, do your characters, draw them in those memes, that way you're in part of that trending. That way people are like, hey, I really like these characters. Where can I learn more about them? Oh, hey, I have this cool little comic here. So,
by the way,
excited.
the theories of why he got cursed, have you read any of them?
I have. A lot of them is pretty much like he got cursed to protect them, which is the baseline of it is true. I don't know how to describe it without spoiling, but there's a very complex answer about what happened and how it happens. And I'm really excited to show more of the director. And that one image I showed you guys, that's going to be the first image that in the comic, at least, of Ryder's demon, the Mind Mage. So,
wow, really? Ooh.
Yes.
Waiting on the edge of my seat for that one.
Just don't get discouraged. A lot of for myself too is I try not to obsessively check comments and stuff like that. I try not to look at how many likes I have. I just I'm posting it. I get the general feedback of what it's like, in the initial first couple of days. I don't touch it again until I'm ready to update again. Because if I keep focusing on my numbers, I'm not gonna have fun, because it's like, oh man, I'm not doing as good as I used to be, or hey, I don't know why, I was really happy with that episode, but people didn't like it as much as they liked the other episode, which I wasn't that proud of. So don't get hung up on the numbers. Numbers are good, statistics are good and stuff like that, but don't let it be your main drive for comic making. Make it your actual passion for your story and for your characters. Because you'll have a lot more fun then. Don't be entitled people into views. If you have a really good art style, that's awesome. That's great. But if you don't have the story to match up with it too, like just saying in general, like just don't be entitled. Like we're all out there, we're all trying. We're all trying to be creators. Just have fun for the love of God.
It sounds like you've gone through so much. Was there ever a point, either with Star Children or TEB, that you wanted to like quit? Was there ever a time you wanted to quit?
Yes. Low point.
Yes. When did I make that update for Star Children? August of last year. I got a very, very low point with Star Children. I mean, it's my most favorite series. Like, people will recognize me because of Star Children. I understand that. But at that time where I was last year, it was not okay. I started to actually hate the characters. Even though I love them so much, I hated where the story was going. I was so disheartened with how because I just hated everything about it. That's when I posted the first part of chapter 30, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna come back. Just right now, I just can't. Every time I even try to open up the canvas that has my storyboards for the story, I just get panic attacks. I have so much anxiety. I was getting sick to my stomach just thinking that I had to work on it. So I kept prolonging it. I was originally supposed to come back in like May of last year. Then I prolonged it to August. I got a lot of positive comments on that post. And then I got a couple of comments that really did hurt me. I tried to ignore them, but there was definitely a lot of people who just didn't understand my situation. Like, there was like one of them was like, hey, grow up. You're an adult. Do your job. Make this comment. I'm like, first off, I am an adult. I'm recognizing that this is not healthy for me. 2, this is not my job.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the people who work for Webtoon, and I understand that they have a lot of stuff going on, but the amount of monetary compensation I actually get from Webtoons is, especially right now, is nothing to where it used to be. Every other month I get some kind of payout for ad revenue versus before I would always get it every single month, and it would be a lot more than what it is. No, it's not my job actually. But the positive comments were so much more frequent than those negative ones, but those negative ones really did hurt me, and it really did hurt me when I was still in that mind space. But I was like, you know what? Screw them. Like, I don't want them as a reader anyway. I'll just block them. I don't care.
Yeah.
I've learned to block people when they say like rude things and clearly don't understand how much effort goes into this. It's a minimum of 40 to 80 hours per episode that you read in like less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't like it, you shouldn't be on Webtoons. You shouldn't be reading comics if you can't appreciate.
What made you want to come back? Was it just like saying, okay, I'm sick of it, and I'm done. I'm just gonna finish it.
Winning the Canvas Awards, I was like, ooh, I'm kind of obligated now.
I'm glad I voted for you then.
Yeah, because I felt kind of obligated at that point, and seeing that I was easily winning that category for Epic Adventures, I'm just like, oh god, I forgot how many people actually do really love my story and how much it means.
Yeah.
And that's part 3 of our interview with Ro-taniah. Don't miss part 4 next week.
Bye, PM fam.